Hi, fourth graders. So today we are going to be thinking about reading graphic novels in a nonfiction lens. Yesterday, you watched a lesson from Miss C about reading realistic fiction and fantasy graphic novels. And today we're going to be continuing graphic novels, but in a nonfiction world. So, a couple of things that you have to do that is a little bit different in nonfiction graphic novels is that you have to be paying attention to a few different things. You have to be paying attention to dates a lot more, people, and places. So I'll just read a couple of pages of the 1918 flu pandemic. This is on Mayan. And I just want you to watch me as I go through this book and pay attention to the little things that I do. Chapter 1, An Invisible Threat. Bam! In 1918, thousands of soldiers had been fighting in World War I, 1914 to 1918. For almost 4 years, these men would soon be battling a new enemy, one that would be invisible and just as deadly. So already I'm noticing that there's a lot of dates. And I also noticed that there is an event that's capitalized, which is World War One. And 1914 to 1918 in the parentheses is telling me that that's the span of when it happened. Kind of like when somebody passes away, they say of when they were born and when they passed away. And that's the span of their life. So I'm going to infer here that that's the span of which World War One happened. So I'm going to continue reading, and there might be some other things that I noticed that's different. Back in the United States, military bases throughout the country prepared soldiers for battle in Europe. 50 more push-ups, men. Up two. Across the country, patriotic citizens marched in support of the war. Over there, victory. And I'm also noticing that their clothing is a lot different from what we wear now. So this is telling me that it's early in the 1900s. So the setting matches the time that they were mentioning before in 1918. Neither the soldiers nor the patriotic crowds knew that a dangerous disease would soon catch the world off guard. A deadly virus arrived in Fort Riley Military Base in Kansas. Now, here's a place, two places that I noticed: Fort Riley Military Base and Kansas. So I know Kansas is a state in the United States. It's in the middle of the United States. And so we'll keep reading. We have a lot of hungry soldiers to feed. This stew will be ready in no time. Don't look so good. Are you okay? I ache all over and I have a fever. By nightfall on March 11th, the Fort Riley cook checked into the military hospital. His symptoms came on unusually fast. Could be influenza. Let's keep an eye on him. Now, as I would continue reading, I would be thinking about if they named somebody first and last name, I would assume that would be somebody who was one, very important during that time, and also somebody that's real, so I can look them up later. They mentioned the cook as just the cook, so I don't really know his name. But I know that it's significant that he's the first person that has caught this influenza that actually happened in real life. So, fourth graders, as you are reading this week, if you choose to read a nonfiction graphic novel, some things that you need to be able to pay attention to is dates, places, and people, especially when they are outright stated. Maybe jot that down in your reader's notebook and you can look up later. I personally really love reading nonfiction through this lens because it helps me visualize what it was like 100 years ago. So, all right, enjoy reading, and I look forward to hearing from all of you.